All right, it looks like I am live. I am so grateful to be here, and I'm just super excited just for this day. And so, what I want to share is what is possible for you to get healing. What if it's possible? Many times, I know that lots of people talk about healing and they talk about wanting to get healed and all of this kind of thing. But what if it's possible for you to get a healing? What if it's possible that God heals you, or the universe, or the source, whatever word you want to use? Um, and how does that happen? There have been people that have gotten spontaneous healings, and so for me, I am super excited about bringing this forth because as a child, I watched my grandmother co-create healing with God for many people. I watched her get people healed from drugs, without going to rehab. I watched her get people healed from cancer and all kinds of diseases and things that are plaguing the body. I watched this growing up. And so for me, it's normal. I just think about that and I consider that. And so the first thing that I think about is not, to be honest with you, the doctor is usually the last thing I think about. And that's just me. Now I'm not saying that for anybody else. But what I'm saying is what if, what if? And what is stopping us from getting these spontaneous healings? Because truly our bodies were created to heal themselves. They spoke about that even in the Bible, there in the other texts as well. Physician, heal thyself. And so our bodies were created to heal itself. Our bodies know. If you don't know your body, you need to start paying attention, because our bodies share with us and tell us things, that tells us, what we need to do. If you start feeling thirsty, you start feeling dry, you need to drink some water. And water, not coffee, not anything else, but water. Because you may be feeling dehydrated, but you have to know your body in order to know what that feels like. So for me, because I do a lot of energy work, I know that with energy work, you need to make sure that your body is hydrated and that you are replenished. So that is one of the things I know about myself. Well, I know about it for everybody. So if you're getting massage, if you're getting acupuncture, if you're having energy healing work done, anything that involves the moving of energy, you need to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. And so what I want to talk about today is, you know, one of the things that's challenging in today is that um, we are at this place where in time where people don't truly believe. They're back in the old days, and this probably would predates a lot of modern medicine, but back in the old days, there were healers and they helped people heal, and they moved them into wherever they needed to go, and they took them to a place where they could get out of spiritual crisis, because many times we think that it's something that has come on our body, but sometimes it's a spiritual crisis. It's something that you need to do in order to some changes you need to make. Sometimes you need to release some of these limiting beliefs, because a lot of times we have these beliefs and we've gotten them from wherever. I'm not doing this, is not for blame. This is just explaining how this works, because I find that so many of us have no idea that we could be healed. And so that was really the reason why I asked that question. Because, for me, I study a lot on healing, and I am committed to helping people to move through these planes and help them to get healed and to really, truly understand, how it works to the extent that I can. And so part of it is making sure that you are in a place where you can receive, where you're not blocked off because you have all these limiting beliefs that are coming from you that grandmama and them told you and whoever. And I always use this example, about beliefs. My grandmother cut the bacon in half, and my mother cut the bacon in half, and I cut the bacon in half, and probably my daughter cuts the bacon in half. Why? Because it's what we learned. It's something that was passed down, and I don't think it was a conscious thing. I think it was just you saw them doing it, and so that's what you did because you thought that was what you did. And there are so many things just like that we have in our consciousness that no longer serve us, but we refuse to get rid of them. And sometimes those are things that are causing all of these things happening in your body. And then another thing that I notice is that people claim their diseases and their conditions. For me, I say I was diagnosed with that. I don't say that I have that. I say I was diagnosed. That means that somebody said that I had it. But am I going to claim it? No, I'm not. And then the other thing too is that people want to claim their diseases from their family. Diabetes runs in my family, high blood pressure runs in my family, so I'll probably get it. And they speak that onto themselves. Because here's the thing, people, the power of life and death exists in the tongue. So you got to make sure that you are speaking things that you desire and not things that you don't desire. Speaking things that you want to happen, and not thinking about just because, I'm going to tell you, my grandmother has diabetes. My grandfather, my last living grandmother has diabetes and has for as long as I can remember. My grandfather had diabetes before he died, but guess what? I don't have it, and I'm not going to have it. Not claiming it. I don't subscribe to that. Just because that runs through my family, well, it's going to run over me. And to be perfectly honest, I'm doing the work so that it stops before. It doesn't go to my children and their children and my great-grandchildren and the children that I will never know, those kind, the ones that I will see in spirit. I'm not subscribing to that. And you don't have to either. And I know that it's not popular to speak this way. And so, I have been wanting to share this stuff for a long time, a few years, because I started studying probably a few years ago, really diving deep into this stuff because I learned it as a child. My grandmother imparted this stuff to me as a child. And so I learned a lot of it as a child. But, as we grow and we change, and as we, once we, get 7 and we stop, seeing the mystical and all that kind of stuff because people beat it out of you. But I wanted to talk about this stuff. I really want to bring it up because I know that it's real. I have no doubt. None whatsoever, that you can be healed from whatever. Now, does that mean that everybody is going to be healed? Probably not. Because it doesn't really work that way. But you have to make the decision that that it's possible for number one, and number two, that that it's possible for you. Because many times we know that things are possible and we know that things can happen, but we don't realize that it is possible for us, or we don't take that stand and say, you know what, this is possible for me. This is possible for me. We can defy gravity. And I'm going to use that with this book that I've been reading, Defy Gravity, Carolyn Miss. I'm going to give her credit for sure because it's hers. But we can defy gravity. We can defy gravity. We can do this. We don't have to be sitting around here being sick and waiting on diseases to hit us. And just because, you are dealing with something doesn't mean you have to deal with it for your life. One thing I hate is when you go to the doctor and they tell you, oh, well, you got to take this pill. And then you say, well, how long I got to take it? Because my husband is famous for asking that. How long I got to take it? And they say, oh, you have to take it for the rest of your life. Okay, so for me, I call bullshit because I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing it. There has to be another way. There is not, I didn't come in this planet or on this earth taking pills, and I will not leave from this earth doing that either. So I feel like there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. And there is. So what I love to do is to help my clients to connect to their soul. Because one thing I've learned is that many of us do not have that supreme connection. We go to church, we go to synagogue, we go to church, we go to the mosque, wherever we go to get spiritually fed or whatever it is, however you feel about that. But we go to these places, but we don't have a connection to God, to source, to universe, to whoever it is that you are serving as far as the deity. We don't have a connection. And so this is one of the things, to me, this is the first thing that we have to do, is we have to have a connection to God's source universe. We have to have a connection. We have to. Your own personal connection. And I'm not talking about through the bishop, through the priest, through the pope, whoever. No, I'm talking about your connection, where you have a conversation with God, with source, with the universe, and you begin to feel your body and feel into what's going on with it. And then the other piece is get the hell out of fight or flight and begin to just allow the thing, begin to love on your body, each and every piece of it, regardless of what size you are, what you want to be. There are people, they want to be 110 pounds. Good luck, and that's wonderful, but that is not my story. I do not want to ever be 110 pounds. Because why? Because I'm 54 years old. And if I am 110 pounds, that means I got to lose all this weight, and that means skin's going to hang, and I got to deal with that. So no, I'm not trying to go there. That's just not in my awareness. Now, if that's something you want, hey, that's you. I fully support whatever it is that you desire. However, what I'm saying today is that healing is there for you if you desire. It's there. But you have to make the decision, and you have to make the choice that, yes, I'm going to do what it takes. I'm going to have, whatever moments I need to have in order to bring healing into my life. And then also I'm going to feel into my body and see how my body feels. See how your body feels when you talk about different things. See how your body feels when you are receiving good news. See how your body feels when you're receiving bad news. Really be accountable to your body and really begin to think about the things that you think about. That's the other thing. Begin to focus on positive things. Begin to focus on things that are going to help you in life. I know one thing I know is I do not like to I will not listen to crazy news stories first thing in the morning. And I think it's so important to have a morning routine. And for me, I call it my morning devotion, because I have a devotion. I sit down and I have a prayer time. I pray and I ask God for whatever the things that I desire. And I also thank God, and I also display gratitude. And that is so huge and important. And I am so excited about that. And I love it, because I believe that if we get our own house in order as far as that, then the healing is there for us. Because as we begin to believe, because that's the other thing, so many times, and I see this so much, I've seen it when I was going to church all the time. I remember there were so many unbelieving believers. They would believe inside the church doors, but as soon as they walked out the door, they were still, claiming their diseases and whatever was going on with them and all this stuff, and there was no faith. There was no faith. And me, I'm a child of faith. I had faith to get here. My parents were young. I had to have faith to get here. When you think about your life and you feel and you think about that, if you consider that, if you came from young parents or if you came from even really old parents, in both of those cases, you had to have faith to get here. Because really old people, they have issues and stuff, geriatric over 35. I'm going to tell y'all, just so you know, you get ready to have a baby, 35 is your time. After that, you're geriatric, you be high risk and all kinds of stuff. Got to go to the doctor every week for 9 months. That's just too much. And then when you're really young, it's a whole nother issue. Same thing, because a lot of young people had issues with having babies too. So you think about it, I feel like I had to have faith to get here. I had to have faith to be here, and all my life I have had to have faith. And so faith is where I stand. Faith is one of the things I'm in devotion to. I'm in devotion to freedom and faith and intuition. and intuition for sure. So I just truly believe that if we were to have this connection with God, with source, with the universe, if we would have this connection where we knew that we were supported, that is like so huge. And to me, that's one of the things that I feel like I have gotten on this journey, is to know that I'm supported. Because I truly believe, when I sat down and looked at it, I truly believe that I was one of those unbelieving believers. I was in the church and I was praying and I was singing on the choir and I was praying on the phones with people, for people, with people. Not very much unlike what I do now with people. I still pray in my sessions. I still pray with people. I still pray before I do readings, like I do in-person readings here. And I still pray before I do those things, because I believe in bringing God into the mix, making sure that we have that supreme connection between myself, God, and whoever it is that I am speaking to. And so I believe that. And so for me, I was like that unbelieving believer. I believe God. I will always believe God. God has always been my dude. Jesus is my main man, always, still, even so. But I don't think I believed. I don't think I truly believed that God could heal, even though I saw many healings. I've seen many spontaneous healings. I've seen them, because I've been going to church all my life from the time I came out the womb. So I've seen many, many healings. I've seen them. And so I know that they exist and I know that they occur. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm taking it to another level, because I really want and I desire to help people to heal. I desire that. And I know that many times, if they can just get it in their mind, if they can just get it in their mind and get it in their heart, and just begin to truly connect with the source of all life. God, I call him God. You call him what you want. But when they begin to truly connect, because I'm going to tell you, that is something that has happened to me. And this is why I know that it's possible. This is why I know. This is why I know. And it's not all about where you go to church or who's your pastor or your bishop or your priest or your pope or your whoever, whatever. It ain't about none of that shit. None of that. It's about your relationship to the source of all life. It's about your relationship. Yours. And truly, I believe that at this time, you need to take that serious. That is like so huge. To me, learning that and actually coming into that knowledge changed my life. Changed my life. Now, am I speaking against, going to church or going to mosque or going to the synagogue or any of those things? No. I'm not speaking against any of that. What I'm saying is, when you begin to understand who you are at the core, and you begin to understand and connect with the source of all life, with the spirit, with your spirit team, with God, with the universe, whatever. Names are semantics. I don't even get into those. Doesn't really matter what you call him, her, them, or us. I remember this time when my grandmother was talking to... Hey, Aletha, thank you for joining. My grandmother was talking to one of her... she was talking to my grandfather on the other side. And he was a Jehovah's Witness. And my grandmother was a pastor, preacher, teacher, evangelist, prophetess type. And so she discussed with him. We were talking, and I don't know how they got on that subject, but I was standing there. I was young, and I was standing there, and I heard her talking to him. And she said, she said, because he was talking about how people don't know God's name is Jehovah, and they don't call him Jehovah, all this kind of crap. And so my grandmother said, and she was the most beautiful, soft-spoken little lady. She was like 4'9". And she was probably more soft-spoken than I am. And I know that I am very soft-spoken. But she commanded a powerful presence. And so she asked my grandfather, she said, he was talking about that, and she didn't even say anything. She just said, she said, "Now your name is Robert, right?" And he said, "Yeah." And she said, "So if I call you Robert, you'll answer me?" And he said, "Yeah." And she said, "And your name is Mr. Sims, right?" And he said, "Yeah." And she said, so if I call you that, you'll answer me, right? And he said, yeah. And then she called out his middle name. And she said, if I call you that, you'll answer me, right? She said, so God is the same way. She said, it doesn't matter what you call him, he'll answer. And I thought that was the most profound thing that I had ever heard in my life at that point. I think I was like, might have been like a teenager, a little bit over. I don't know. I can't even think, but I was young. I remember that. It was at least 30 years ago. And I remember that so clearly. And I talk to people about that all the time because that is exactly what it is. You know, your connection with God, source, universe is your connection. And whatever you decide to call him, I mean, if you want to call him Lollipop, I think he'll answer it. If you're connected to him and he knows you, and you know, I'm honestly, truly, I was blown away by that. And I've remembered that all these years because it made that type of effect on me. And so knowing that and really, really, really honoring that and knowing that, yes, you know, uh, you can have that connection and you can have that where you communicate with your higher self, with God, with source, with spirit, you know, because for me, I feel like I'm a child of source and spirit. I am a child of spirit. You know, I am a faith walker because I have walked by faith all my life. And I love, you know, when I get to help people to do that. I love when I get to help people to connect to their soul and to really dive into themselves and really transmute, you know, the energies, you know, especially the lower level energies that we carry. Because y'all, newsflash, if you didn't know, we carry lower level energies. We do. We carry those. Now, a lot of times we don't want to admit it, and we like to you know, like skirt that and go around and stuff like that. But you know what we do. And so, you know, in order to start to release those things, once you realize and recognize that they are there for you, you know, to transmute, that's why they're there. You know, it's so many things and so many residuals that were left over from when you were a child and things that people taught you. And sometimes it's things that you learned along the way. You know, sometimes it's experiences that you had that has taught you and showed you things, you know, and this is how you have, you know, formed your life, you know, because you had this experience. And so, you know, it's almost like when you touch a hot stove and you're a child. When you touch a hot stove and you're a child and you burn your damn finger, guess what? You're not going to touch a hot stove again. If you are that type of child, you know, you could be like my youngest, who was very persistent, is the word that I use now. That was not the word I used when he was a child. But now that he is 31, I call him very persistent. He's a child that he never gives up, and he doesn't care what anybody else says if it's what he wants. And he's been like that since he was a little thing, since he was touching the damn stove and I told him not to. And it was hot. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, when you do that, these are things that they start making new neural pathways is what they do. And so then you stay in that place. You stay in that place. You stay there because that's what you know, and that's what you've been formed by your experiences. And so as you stay in that place, it's like you don't realize it's like weighing you down and weighing you down, because you know what? It doesn't have to be the truth. You know, it doesn't have to be the truth. It doesn't have to be your truth. And I think what happens is we embody these things and make it our truth. You know, it's almost like diseases and conditions, you know, my cancer, my fibromyalgia, you know, my diabetes, all these kind of things. We make these things our own and we put them in here and we pet them and we baby them. And this is what we do, you know, but we don't have to. We do not have to struggle and suffer like that. That is what I'm here to tell you today. If you get nothing else from this talk that I'm talking, know that you do not have to struggle and suffer like that anymore. You don't have to. You know, and I'm going to say something. I'm going to go a little bit out here on the limb because, you know, I'm speaking my truth and I don't really care. But I'm going to go out on the limb is you don't have to do that. You do not have to. You do it because you choose to. On one level, you choose to. Now, I'm not saying you choose to have these conditions and you choose to have these diseases. No, but you choose to keep them. You may not have chosen them consciously, but you choose to keep them. You choose not to deal with them. You choose not to consider that they can be healed and that you can heal them. You choose not to do that. Or maybe you smoked all your life, and so you feel like cancer came for you because you smoked all your life, and that's what people say. Oh, you keep smoking, you're gonna have cancer, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. I'm here to offer you a different perspective. That is why I'm here. I'm here to offer you a different perspective. And so what I will say is that if you are in a place where you're feeling all this and you know that you need some help to transmute all this and you are ready and you want to join me, I do one-to-one sessions on Zoom. I also have an 8 weeks to limitless program that I'm doing. It is amazing. I have, we actually co-created healing for you, just for you. So it's not a group program. It's like a hybrid. So we'll have sessions, like I'll have a group session together, a couple, but it's one-to-one sessions, 8 one-to-one sessions for 8 weeks. And people have gotten so much transformation. And that is the thing. It's like you think about that thing, and people are like, okay, well, what are we going to do and all that stuff? Well, that depends on you, because this program is based on you. It's individual. So each person will have their individual program. So we will work because, everybody doesn't need the same thing and everybody doesn't need the same level of care. Everybody doesn't need it. Some people need a little bit deeper than others. Some people need more belief work. Some people need more healing work. Some people need me to go into my shamanic and help them in that way. Some people need me to be able to transmute that and send them and pull and do psychic surgery, because those are some things that I do. So if that's something that you are looking for, reach out to me, send me a DM. My DMs are always open, except at night I go to bed and I turn all that stuff off because it gets to be overwhelming. But thank you. And I also want to thank everyone for wishing me a happy birthday. My birthday was November 1st. So 111, I turned 54 years old, and I'm super excited about that. Just because I actually had a conversation with my brother-in-law, and he was like, well, I don't get excited about my birthday. I said, well, I do, because I consider the alternative. I mean, I'm still here. If I wasn't still here, I wouldn't be celebrating birthdays. So I celebrate mine, and I celebrate for the whole month. So I'm still celebrating. But I just want to thank all the people. In case I didn't get to thank you, I tried hard. It was a lot of people. Tried hard to let people know, that I really appreciate that, because I am super excited just to be, chapter 54, another year on this planet. So I have had 54 turns around the sun, walking in faith, doing the thing. But anyway, so I'm super grateful, and I'm just excited that you are here, and I'm excited that the door is opening to this, because it's time. It is time. It is time. People are suffering in this world. I saw an article about a young lady in the UK that she was so distraught. She was 20, I think 27 or 28. I can't remember, one of those. And she had a little cute little, like a 3-year-old. And she was so distraught because she had all these bills. She was behind on the bills, and they had taken her to court, but they set up a nice little payment plan for her. And she was actually, she actually had gotten a job and all that stuff. So things were actually looking up. But she was so distraught that she took her baby and she stepped off in front of a train and was killed. And so that kind of stuff, that bothers me so bad. Y'all don't know, because I just don't understand how you can have that level of hopelessness that young. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But I'm super excited, to be able to help people that are in those spaces, because that, to me, it's like somebody needed to help that child. Somebody needed to help her. That was just horrible. And and it just bothered me so bad, and I really had to go and pray about it, because I just couldn't understand, how somebody feels that devastated, that they would take their child and go and kill themselves, jump in front of the train, and I honestly was grateful that she did die, because sometimes people do these things and it just messes them up and they still living and they miserable while they living, and it's just awful. I've taken care of them in the homes. So I've seen them. But yeah, so I'm super grateful. I'm gonna pop off here because I think I've been on here long enough. Thank you so much for joining me, and those of you that are catching the replay, I appreciate you. Also, I would love it if you would join me and check out my YouTube channel. I have the description in the link in the description of the video. It's going to be above the video, I think. I'll also drop it in the comments once I'm done. But make sure that you go over there and follow me, because things are popping over there. My YouTube is doing amazing, and I am really, committed to, helping us on this healing journey. I'm committed to it. And so I'll be dropping more videos. And so if you want to be notified when I drop new content, make sure that you go over there and you like, and also find somebody to share it with, because I'm telling you, it's time. It is time for us to take accountability for our bodies. It's time for us to stop giving away the accountability for our body to other people. It's time for us to do it. It's time for us to do it. It's time for us to connect to God's source universe and get our own damn healing. It's time for us to do that. It's time for us to allow for the spirit to flow through us. And so, what I've learned is that if you are having something going on, one of the first things you want to do is you want to love your body. And then you want to love whatever that is that's going. And then you want to allow it to flow through you. And you don't want to resist. Because that is one of the things that we do, and it's not helpful. We go into this fight or flight mode, and so we're either like that, or we're, we feel like Oprah, we got to fight all our life, that kind of stuff. so anyway, I hope that this was helpful to you, and I will be back on again on Tuesday. I try to come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to try hard to do it kind of around midday. So, because people seem to be okay with that. But it could be any time because I'm doing things. I do other things. But yeah, so Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that I'm going to come live on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube probably a little bit more, but definitely Tuesdays and Thursdays on Facebook and YouTube. I just finished The Science of Getting Rich. That book was amazing. I'm thinking about reading another one, but I have to think about it and see what it is. We may not do that, but I am going to start bringing some more healings on here so that you can have some healings that you can do, because you can always download these things, and all that kind of stuff. But and there's already some meditations and healings and stuff on YouTube as well. So, and that's another thing. I also do readings. Angel intuitives is what I call them. Readings with affirmations. And what I do is I do the reading for you, and then I create the affirmations based on your reading, and I record it for you so that you can play it on loop anytime that you desire. So if that's something that you are interested in as well, make sure that you let me know. You can send me a DM or whatever. And if you are in the Everett, Washington area, Seattle, Washington area, anywhere around in Western Washington, come and join me at Vision Quest Metaphysical Bookstore on the fourth Sunday. It's going to be this month. Next month is Christmas, so it won't be. The fourth Sunday of the month, I'm doing Sister Circles and Vision Quest. Matter of fact, I'll drop the link in the comments when I'm done for Vision Quest. You can go on the website and it has the little write-up about, the Sister Circles and stuff. But if you are looking for a community and you're wanting to join the Sister Circle, it's called the Sister Circle Immersion Experience. So if you'd like to do that, make sure that you can also send me a DM, and I can also send you the link. But I'll also drop the link for Vision Quest in the comments, because you can pay on the site, or you can pay when you get in the store, or whatever you want to do. But we're doing these Sister Circle immersion experiences because I know that people need this after this pandemonium. People are looking for community, because you've been so separate and so alone and, by yourself and all these kind of things. And so With this sister circle, we come in and we have beautiful discussion and conversation, and generally the circle dictates itself. So typically the people that come are drawn together, and usually there's a common theme that arises when we get there and as we start speaking. And then at the end of it, I do a meditation journey with you, you know. So if that's something that you are looking for, make sure that you are checking me out. And like I said, I will drop Vision Quest link in the comments. That way you can look and see, because we have all kinds of stuff. And I also do readings there if you're in the area, fourth Saturday of the month. And I do them for like half the price that I charge normally, in the store. The store is way cheaper, do the same thing, except typically I do them on Zoom. But in the store, it's in person. So I do readings, and I call it reading/healings, because sometimes it's a healing and sometimes it's a reading. It doesn't really matter to me, whatever the spirit dictates and whatever you need. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I think that's all the announcements I have. So I have a wonderful, Sunday service. So Sunday service with the Morrisons, I do on Sunday. So join me there. I'll be on Facebook and YouTube. I may pick up Instagram or 𝐾𝐲, one of those two, because I can do that on the phone while I have the computer up. But Sunday service with the Morrisons is something that we've been doing, and I have loved it. It's been amazing. I just bring in topics that people need to hear, and topics that I want to talk about, things that Spirit has gifted me to bring forward, because that is really why I'm doing it, because Spirit mandated me to do it. And so I'm doing it, and I love it, and I would love it if you would join me. But I typically come on somewhere around 9, 10 o'clock, somewhere between 9 and 11 usually. That's if I have to go. Yeah, because I used to have to, I was doing readings in the store at 12. So I used to have to go in there, get ready and be in there before 12. So I would do them sometimes at 9. So somewhere between 9 and 11, generally I do Sunday service with the Morrisons. But if you will go on my YouTube channel and subscribe and hit the bell, then you'll be notified. So again, thank you for joining me. It's been a blast. Always. I'm always loving to come on here and share. And I hope that you got value. And if you did, comment about it and let me know, what you thought and what kind of value you got from it and how it landed for you. Again, I do try to come back and respond to all the comments. So if you do comment, I will definitely respond. So again, thank you for joining me. And I hope that your day is amazing and magical, because that is the days that I ask for. That is how I set my intention. So I'll come back on here and talk on Tuesday. I think I'm going to talk about setting intentions, because that is something that people have been asking me about, and all of that. And so I thought I would talk about that, as well as probably some other stuff too. But again, thank you for joining me. I hope that your day is magical. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, these are my amazing earrings that I made. They're cute. So if you want a pair like those, I have a few pair of those. If you'd like to have a pair of those, I'm selling them for $10. Plus shipping and handling in the U.S. Outside the U.S., I don't think. However, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, or weekend. And I will definitely see you on Sunday for Sunday service with the Morrisons, and I will see you also on Tuesday and Thursday. So have a wonderful, and Wednesday with my Ebony and Ivory partner, Megan Marie. We will come on and talk about spiritual growth from the perspective of the narcissist, and some different ways to help you to get through, because so many people are dealing with that, and we recognize the need to come on and share. So if you guys are looking for something, we come on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And I also do lives with my dynamic duo partner, Shawn White. So we do them different times, but make sure that you are following either one or both of us, so you can see that. We did one live on Instagram about intuition in business. So that was amazing. That was an amazing live. So if you haven't seen that, go to Shawn's page and watch that. It was so good. It was so good. I went back and watched it again myself. And if you are changing the planet, you might want to come on my show, Straight Out of Savannah, and talk about it. Y'all, that show is bumping and it's doing so well, and I'm so proud of it. But it's on Apple, it's on Google, it's on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, it is on Spotify, it started on Anchor, it's on Listen Now, it's on Radio Breaker, it's anywhere that you listen to podcasts. I'm trying to get it on NPR. But it's anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And so I'm super, super grateful and super excited. And so for those of you that come and subscribe to it, I would love it. I'm so excited. I just love doing it, y'all. I do. And I have interviewed the most amazing people. I really have. The last 2 interviews just blew me away and lit me up. And so you have to check them out. They're on my channel. They're also on Anchor and Spotify, YouTube, and all those places. But yeah, so that's another thing. So I'm just loving life, and I would love it if you are changing the planet and you want to come talk about it. Send me a message, and I'll drop you a link, and you can schedule, because I have a scheduler for that purpose. So you can schedule, your interviews. All right. So again, thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, weekend, whatever it is for you. And I hope that your day's magical. And I hope the rest of this year for you is magical. And next year is magical. I hope that you can get yourself to a place where you feel this. You feel the hope and the love and the magic that I feel for you. Have a great day. Bye now.